Living the good fat life with your hosts Karen and Sherri. They'll help everything align for your body, soul, and mind. The good fat life, whether change comes slow or dramatically. The good fat life will help you sort things out organically.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, Sherri.
How are you?
I'm great. It feels like we were just here. We're
Yeah.
back again. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love podcast days, don't you?
I do. And I just love starting them with that song by Wally Pleasant. So
Yeah,
thank you, Wally.
Yeah.
It's like where to start. My brains are spinning today because our guest is so dynamic.
Yeah.
And he's also my chiropractor, right? And I can't imagine life without my life without a chiropractor in my life. And it's not just any chiropractor. It's an exquisite chiropractor. And we'll talk about that in a minute, what makes one. But
and he's also a contributor to our magazine, Good for Life,
he
right?
is.
Yeah,
He
he's
is.
not just a chiropractor, he's a writer, an extraordinaire, maybe even a model. We don't know. Yeah.
So, and thank you for reminding me
Yeah.
about the magazine because
Yeah.
I was so excited I forgot. So yes, we're Good Fat Life, our magazine, and Doc Adam is on the back cover with his beautiful family. And one of the things that we have really embraced with Good Fat Life is to be able to talk about self-care, right? And self-discovery and why it's not just something you just kind of do when you have nothing better to do. It's got to be the core of what we do, right?
In every second, every
Right.
moment, yeah.
So we are, as we look at our 8 types of self-care, I think what we have to talk with, I always call him Doc Adam, but Dr. Rushford is which do you
Chiropractor.
prefer? Yeah. Okay.
I really don't mind either way.
Yeah.
I've got patients that call me Adam.
yeah.
I used to have a patient that called me Dr. Hirschfeld. Just had a rough time with the name Rushford. Whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
Rushmore, Rushford, whatever.
Whatever. Well, and I was raised in a medical community, and people always would be, Doc Sherri or Doc, not me, my dad.
Yeah.
And so it was like, whatever, as long as they were respectful, that's so. So anyway, so Dr. Adam Rushford is our guest today.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Sherri.
He has a clinic here in Brighton, Michigan, Hands-On Health Chiropractic. And we're going to talk to him about it. So, hey, welcome.
Awesome. It's great to be here. It's great to be here. What are we going to get into today?
Oh, it's like where to start.
Yeah.
So let's just talk a little bit. Let's start a little bit about tell us about chiropractic.
Yeah.
For people who, because lots of people really don't know.
This has
Or
been
they think it's crazy.
Yeah, this has been on my mind for a future article for the magazine as well, because I think chiropractic is vital, and I think it's a necessity. And I think the reason that it doesn't have more of a market share is because people just don't understand it. Like even if you just think chiropractic care is just about back pain, back pain is probably one of the most common reasons people actually go to medical doctors, but chiropractors only have about 10% market share in it, even though study research shows that chiropractic should be your first stop. And if chiropractic doesn't work, then you work your way up. And we still haven't been able to move past that 10% market share over years and years of chiropractic, because we haven't done a great job of telling the community what we are and what a chiropractor does.
And where does that stem from? Besides not telling the community, where did that come from?
Well, chiropractic is divided. There's a lot of, you can go to 10 different chiropractic offices and get 10 different ideas of what chiropractic is. There are some chiropractors there's diplomats within chiropractic where they just do nutrition. There's chiropractors that don't adjust at all, that just do, soft tissue work, and they try to work more like a PT or a massage therapist. There's chiropractors that take x-rays. There's chiropractors that are wellness and family-based like I am. And there's chiropractors that are only pain and symptom-based. And there's chiropractors that want to practice like medical doctors. There's a big divide within the chiropractic education community right now of there's chiropractic community that wants to medicalize, and there's been legislature that's been brought up to try to get it so chiropractors can prescribe medications. And then there's chiropractors like me that want to have an alternative that isn't drugs and surgery, and have a good alternative for people For one, would not be good at prescribing medications. I don't
Because
have
you
the,
don't- right.
I don't
No,
have
yeah.
I don't have the knowledge base to do it. And to me, I think there's enough people that have that skill and are much better at it than I am. What I am great at doing is I'm great at finding where people's stress points are in their life and helping them understand that their health is not just an episode. It's a multitude of variety of stresses that they interact with throughout their life. So it's a combination of, I use the example, small scale traumas, micro traumas, and large macro traumas that people suffer from throughout their life that over time deforms that normal natural position. And there, just like your car, just like a building, to me, it's basic engineering. There's a proper position for your spine and for your body in which your body is just more efficient. You're just more efficient in those positions, meaning it's going to be stronger, it's going to be faster, it's going to hold up against the stress of your day a lot better. And just like your car or a building or any other piece of machinery, it's subject to stress and gravity and entropy. It's going to break down and wear out of that position. So your body's amazing, but to expect to stand up against the stress that we constantly put it under, from sitting, from trauma, from car accidents, and for it not to deform is just crazy to me.
Yeah. Is there a Wikipedia version of what chiropractic is? Like, if you could say like one blurb, does anyone agree on what the definition is of it?
Oh, I don't think there is. I think my definition would be different than 100 other different chiropractors that you follow.
Can you tell us what your definition is?
Yeah, my definition is fine tuning the position of the human body to help relieve stress and help to relieve pressure from the spinal cord and nervous system.
Okay.
So I look at chiropractic, and when I describe it to patients, I describe it on two levels, and I usually start off describing it at more of a mechanical, like we just talked about, because I think it's easy to get people to understand the mechanics of it, because most people think mechanically somewhat. So getting a person to understand that, as your head goes forward, you put more stress on your shoulders.
That's right.
So it's really easy to show people that on x-rays, and really easy to show people that posture and get them to understand it. And I love that about chiropractic, but that's not my favorite part about chiropractic. My favorite part about chiropractic is what it does to the spinal cord and nervous system. We're not just stacking 24 vertebrae to help you stand up straighter. Each of those vertebrae are protecting your spinal cord and all those little paired nerve roots that branch off that supply, messages to every cell, tissue, and organ in your body. So to me, that's the true beauty of the chiropractor. Not only can we help people feel better and move better, but we can take stress off their body so their body actually heals better. As part of what I talked about in the new article that I'm writing. I want all my patients care within the office. The best care that we do is when I'm able to transition a patient's care from being concerned and worried about how their body's feeling to where they're being concerned and worried about how their body is healing. That's the important stuff. To me, that's my style of chiropractic. We are very structural, functional based in what we do. We do postural evaluations on everybody that comes in the office, digital posture evaluations. We take x-rays on patients that come in because it just increases the safety and efficacy of chiropractic and of the adjustment if you take x-rays. There are thousands of reasons to not adjust or go light with the adjustment that you can't feel. You need to have x-rays to see that and to know what's going on. So I think it really increases the safety of our style of chiropractic, which chiropractic is safe as it is. And then it helps us teach patients that much better. You can actually see on x-ray what years of sitting has done to not only the alignment, but actually the shape of the bone and the shape of where the spinal cord would have to travel. From an education perspective, there's no better way to get somebody to understand chiropractic in their care.
So you've said so many things, right? But full disclosure, my grandpa was a chiropractor, right? So since the time I popped out, I have had exquisite chiropractic care. And but I was reading, and I think it might even be in the book that the Metabolical, that at the 150 years ago, when the medical association, the AMA, was getting formed, medical doctors, chiropractic was there as well.
Yep.
And it just became a better marketing job and a better politics to get the medical association with the doctors, the physicians, and and I'm sorry if I'm butchering this a little bit, but I found that was fascinating because you think about it, prior to the last, couple 150 years, we didn't have medicines and pills and surgeries as we do today.
Yeah.
It was learning how to use your body to take care of itself.
Yep.
And so that is what I love. Another thing I love so much about chiropractic is, you're helping the body heal itself the way that we were designed to do. Right?
And that's what drew me to chiropractic the most. I was going down the physical therapy pathway in school. I was like pre-PT until I had a really bad back injury and started to see a chiropractor. And I went to a chiropractor when I was younger. My mom took us, and I went just because I played sports, but I didn't know why I was there or what a chiropractor does. And I was lucky enough to go to a chiropractor in college that taught me about what a chiropractor can do and taught me about, this is the kind of community that you can build, kind of office you can build. And you can adjust people, but look at all these other things that you can do with all the other skills that you've developed over time. So, I mean, in the office, it's fun to adjust people, but to me, an adjustment should never just be crack, crack, crack out the door. It should be, all right, an adjustment and with either a story to inspire them, information to lead them, or a reason to come back and continue to work on their health. To me, that's what an adjustment has to be. It's not just not the smallest part, but one of the smaller parts of it is the treatment. The biggest part is just teaching people and being accountable and being a support for them. I love the relationships that I've developed. I have patients that are comfortable enough in my office to be vulnerable and cry. And not that I know all the answers to help them emotionally, but I can be vulnerable with them and it'll help them offload some of their emotional stresses too, which is such a cool thing to be able to do,
Yeah.
But
I'm
it's
not a therapist, but I'm a good listener,
right?
Yeah.
But think of how much emotional stress can tighten up your neck muscles, which puts you in a spasm.
You're exactly right.
And
Exactly
so
And it changes the chemistry of your brain, too.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. There's no faster way to get sick. And some of the worst spines that I see is in the chronically emotionally stressed.
So in your article, which is coming out in the next issue, so I don't want to give it all
Next
away.
issue, play.
Of play. Right. We talk about, we focus on play. That has been,
Yeah, fascinating.
oh
right?
my gosh. I
Yeah.
had no idea that play would be such thought-provoking idea, concept, right? How we play. And so in there, you said a couple things, and just want to pull a couple of those things out that, and one of them, I'll just start with one of them, about that you see people that are incredibly healthy that are in pain, and then people that are very unhealthy that have no pain.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that.
How does that work? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I kicked my butt in the gym yesterday and my body is really, really sore. Does that mean I'm not a healthy person? No,
Yeah.
no, my body's just responding to the stress. And no amount of chiropractic or wellness care or self-care is going to keep you from overdoing it every once in a while. Your body's going to get sore when you push it past its normal limits. To me, the sign of health is that going back to how fast your body heals after you have this increase in stress. So we know this innately. I mean, you can look at our biggest killers in the country. When do you feel heart disease and cancer? When it's too late, mostly.
Right.
So just tracking your health and symptoms are very important. I don't want to downplay the importance of symptoms, but just tracking your health based on how you feel is such a reactive way to treat your health. There's nothing proactive about it. It's just waiting for the fire. You wouldn't do that for anything else you care about.
Right.
You don't wait for your house to catch on fire
important to be
start,
aware.
to start checking
Yeah.
the wiring,
So go into a couple of examples on that, because I found you used some of those in the article, and it was fascinating.
Yeah.
About if you're using how you feel as your guide, then it's like this self-spiral down.
Yeah. So within the office, what I always try to get the patients to focus on, going back to trying to transition that reason for care from how they feel to how they heal, we want to focus on physiological changes within their body. So what we can measure within my office, we can measure structural and functional changes, how their body's moving, how it's structured, how much strength they have, how much further they can push it without it starting to yell at them again. All right.
Okay.
But you can track it a number of different ways. You could track that with your Oura ring, like you've got with your Oura ring. That's a great way to track some extremely important neurological findings within your body instead of just waiting for pain.
Well, tell us about the Oura ring. I don't think a lot of people know about that. How does that track?
And that reminds me, that was what I wanted to ask you also about, because another thing I love about Dr. Rushford is that you are always researching and looking for additional ways to get information, to get feedback.
Podcast, baby.
Yeah.
I got turned on a podcast I probably started really listening to podcasts heavily about 9 years ago, before I bought my office, when I was commuting down to Livonia and Jackson to go to offices, and it completely transformed my life, because I used to make these rides to work, and I'm from the UP, and I don't like traffic, and I don't like waiting, and I just get so agitated waiting in traffic, and I get to work and I'd be agitated, or I get home and I'd be agitated, and finally I'm like, I got to change this. So I just started listening and learning, to the point now that my commute is only 10 minutes. I kind of miss
I know, yeah.
podcast.
Like,
I had a long time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. But that's one of the wonderful things I love about coming to your office or seeing you anytime, because you're always sharing that information. And I don't know, and we'll get back to the Oura ring in a minute, but there's so many things that we can do that can make it fun. So we go back to play, right? And so it's like sitting and, I don't know, charting something can be really, writing down everything you eat could be really boring. And there's Nooms, and there's different apps and things that you can do to make it fun.
Or time consuming if it's me. It's a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
I'm a sucker for gamification.
So,
I mean, it gets me every time.
Yeah.
Because I'm super competitive. So.
Oh yeah.
But as are most people,
Yeah.
are many people, and so it brings that fun into it, the play into it. I mean, I eat 9 fruits and vegetables a day now, because of making it a game. It took me a year, but I got there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So talk about some of those things that you have found.
So some of the wearable things that I use, that I get a lot out of, like the gamification and the measuring and tracking. The one that I use when I work out, it's called it's a fitness tracker, my zone. Yeah, it's a my zone. It's like a little heart rate monitor that I wear when I work out, that tracks my movement, it tracks my heart rate, and it gives you different zones based on if you're an 80% or 90% of your heart rate max, and for how many minutes you're in that zone. You get so many points per minute. And then I've got my goal for points for the year. And then as you get more, as you get a streak and you go 3 months or 6 months or 9 months, you get these you're like gold level.
Oh, wow.
And I've got such a streak going on right now. I was like, I can't stop. I can't stop. And the cool part is we have it at the gym that I work out at. So it's up on the screen, and we're all linked together. A bunch of us in the office are all linked together. So we're like, hey, you're not even close to your points for the month. What's going on? So I'm mostly internally competitive, but I feel like I've gotten so many workouts in just because I'm like, oh my God, I don't have enough points. I've got to get moving. So,
so it's motivating.
The My Zone app I've really, really loved. And there's a bunch of other things that are out there like that as well. The Oura ring I've really loved using, which I lost mine swimming. My bony little fingers shrank too much when I got swimming.
Working out,
and I've been swimming a lot, and I when I was swimming earlier, I was really conscious about it. I was being very careful to keep my fingers together. And I jumped in the water to go fix something on our little dock hoist, and I was just moving around, and I can almost like feel
it's feeling like,
and I grabbed it. I tried to find it was too murky, but with the Oura ring, what I really liked, I liked the sleep score. And I like the readiness score the most. It was such an easy thing to look at, and drove me to be more conscious about all right, maybe I should take a day off working out. I'm pushing my body a little too hard if my readiness score isn't there well enough.
What does sleep score mean? Does it to monitor how much sleep you need or how much sleep you still need?
A variety of different factors. So it keeps track of your heart rate while you're sleeping, your heart rate variability while you're sleeping, your respiratory rate while you're sleeping, how much you move while you're sleeping, how long does it take you to fall asleep, your total amount of sleep. It tracks the trends with your heart rate. So it can, based on the trends that it's measured with your heart rate and respiratory rate, it can tell when you're in REM or deep sleep or light sleep. So there's probably 10 different variables.
Yeah,
that's
important.
Sleep hygiene is so important.
My sleep has definitely improved significantly since I started wearing it.
I mean, brain health.
Okay.
Brain health is something I think we really stink at as a country. I think
Yeah.
everybody really focuses on their heart health, and they're really concerned about what their heart health is doing, which is important. Don't get me wrong, but your brain is it's a CEO. It's driving the ship here. So maybe. And how often do you hear somebody saying, "Yeah, I'm working on my brain health this month. This is what I'm going to work on."
So you'll
exercise and sleep. That's the two proven things that do the most for improving your brain health. Yeah.
So you will love this. So I had to go somewhere randomly this week, and there was a episode on NPR, I think, and they were interviewing a neuroscientist and a scientist. They just come out with a new book, and it's on brains, right? And they were saying that, we've heard that. Karen's heard this because I was so excited I had to tell everybody. But you've heard that we only use 10% of our brain, right? Well, they said that's not true. That isn't even remotely true. Our brains are so overused in the world we live in today, and it's been getting steadily worse over the last century, but definitely over the last 25 years. Yeah. And so that's why we have fog. That's why we have a hard time concentrating.
Memory.
Why we have memory loss is that it's not aging; it's overstimulation and use. And then, but this, you'll love this because it fits in with everything that you teach and model in the way you live, that our bodies were designed to use our brain, go move, interact with people, use our brain, and, kind of like this circle, and they feed each other and sleep well, right? Yep. And sleep well and rest well. And when we do that, that's when our brain is at maximum. It's not sitting at our desk and reading 10 books and studying and getting more intense. More intense. It's that mix it up. Yep. Think, go move.
I mean, talk to somebody that is a desk jockey that sits for 8 to 10 hours a day. They're exhausted by the end of the day. And it's not because they burn too many calories. Their brain is just fried from overstimulation from the screen and the lack of good stimulation from movement of the spinal cord. It's Alfred Brieg, is that a neuroscientist that I think he won the Nobel won some prestigious award for his research, and it found that like 90% of the stimulation to your brain comes from movement of your spine, and your brain needs to be stimulated. Otherwise, it develops into brain imbalances or weaknesses in the hemispheres or improper communication between both sides of the brain. So
and mental health issues.
But that's fascinating.
Have we seen more and more during COVID? Like have you seen more mental health issues in your office?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Because people are more sedentary.
Yeah, I think it's multifactorial there.
Yeah,
they've been chronically scared for one.
Yeah,
they've been worried. They've been scared. It's been so unsure, and that combined with not enough human interaction and not enough sunlight,
and sitting in front of Zooms all day rather than
So a lot of different factors, but the sitting's a big part of that. And it's, we are not doing a very good job with brain health. And it's obvious if you look at the numbers of early onset dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and, all the money that they raise to try to make it better. None of it goes towards prevention. It all goes for drugs. We need to find out a better way to prevent it. And right now, the only things that we really have that anybody does any kind of research and study based on is sleep and exercise. Those are the two most important things you can do to help your brain. I can't remember. I heard about this book from a podcast. I can't remember the name of it, but they were talking about like the evolutionarily, like if sleep is so important. If it wasn't evolutionarily, we would have cut it out,
right?
Because
because
it's like, imagine, to be alive, you gotta protect yourself and you have to eat. So you're going to stop doing that for 8 hours every single day. That's how important it is. Your body's willing to put itself at risk and not feed itself for that long a period of time, because that's how important it is. It's that necessary.
They actually did studies about this group. I think it was in Turkey that they didn't sleep, and they died of, like, this whole group of people. They died from not sleeping, and they had these bizarre behaviors, like they would be like buttoning their shirt like away from here and like doing all these things like in the air. It was very interesting to watch them. They studied them. These people could not sleep. And
you're not allowed to do a Guinness Book challenge for consecutive days without sleep, because that's how dangerous it is.
Yeah.
I think there is international rules about prisoners of war that you cannot deny them their sleep, because that's how traumatic it is to the human body. It's really fascinating.
Yeah,
so I just, and we talk about it in this issue, yoga nidra.
Yeah.
So I came across it because yoga gets so much play, right?
Yeah.
But yoga nidra is done while laying in the corpse pose.
Yeah, it's like a trans state. Yeah.
But the reason I found it fascinating, and actually I'm going to go back to school and get certified in some of the real
awesome.
training of it, because to your point, it's around how our bodies rest, and it's fascinating. And when we are rested, we are capable. When we're rested and in good health, we are capable we're invincible.
Yeah. When you're in that rest state, that's when you phase. You can totally manifest. That's a manifestation
of a and there's a lot of research done around you can control your dreaming and how you dream, and which is your subconscious level, right? Yeah. And your health and wellness, and yoga nidra is an access to that. So
that is so cool. You'll have to teach me.
It is so much fun.
Yeah.
I know the concept, but I've never done it before.
I actually have taught it before, and it is really fun to teach. It's really fun to see their reactions after, because it's amazing. Yeah, and I've done it several times. It's beautiful.
Because you're tapping into that. It just kind of goes back to, and that's what I love so much about the work at Doc Adams and philosophy, is just that being well, right? It's like, I don't go see you now. Well, I should say, yes, I do. I do see you when I am in acute pain and I need relief. But my intention is to see you, to not have to see you for that, to see you to maintain that wellness, right?
Yeah.
And do you think that people know what wellness looks like for them? Because don't you think, like, a lot of people just don't even know their baseline? Like, how do you begin to know where you're well at? It's just like, because you said they kind of go backwards, like, oh, this hurts, I got to go to the doctor. It's never like, am I well right now, and how do I stay well, kind of thing. Like, how do we help people find that?
For a lot of people, the regression in health happens so slowly they don't notice it until they get to that tipping point. So how do you? It's a comment I've heard patients say before that we try to get patients in like the subacute phase. So we do a lot of events where we'll do postural screenings, and we'll try to get people in before they get into that really acute phase of care. And they'll come in. Oh yeah, I feel fine. When we talk about them, when we talk about their history and everything, we'll get them adjusted. And we've heard this a number of times. I didn't realize how stiff my neck actually was. I didn't realize how restricted my movement was, and how much stress I was holding that area until it was released. So I don't really know until you experience it, how to find out what that is and help people realize it.
That's a great question though, right? Like, what does that look like?
And I've really been getting into alchemy lately. Like, what does health look like, and how can you sort of control it? Like, how can you learn that about your body and be the alchemist for your body and your mind? That's fascinating. Like, how much water do you need? All these things. And all the modalities you said help with that. But if you can really get into it, it's a science.
And I think that answer is different for everybody. Some degrees.
Yeah.
Well, and that would be right.
But
right?
we're really in control of it in so many ways.
It is going to be different for everybody. And that's, but that doesn't make it any less important to ask the question.
Yeah.
Right?
So your number one job is to be healthy. Really.
And self-care. Your number one job is self-care.
And that's really kind of what we come back to, is like the whole thing with Good Fat Life is intentional living. And intentional living means,
show up whole.
Show up as your best self and figure that out.
And model it for other people. So not do it so you can help other people. Model it so it's just taught from the beginning, right? Like, we have to teach it from when children are born. Like,
So
you take care of yourself. Yeah.
So I had my two 4-year-old grandchildren, and they live one's in Texas and one's in Montreal. They're both in yoga classes.
Oh,
I love it.
And they're
Yeah.
learning how to breathe. And so
Awesome.
they'll go, Grandma Sherri, breathe. Yeah. And then they show me their stuff. But I'm like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
And
For
they're teaching kids how to
children.
meditate now.
Children.
Yeah.
And so they did, but children to learn to pay attention to their bodies.
That's amazing.
I think I was like in
Need
my
more of that.
my 30s
Right?
before
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
said,
Yeah.
and maybe even older before somebody.
What do you mean I'm supposed to be in touch with this? What are
Yeah,
you nuts?
exactly.
Yeah.
And they ask a question, and you go, "I have no clue."
Yeah.
Not being conscious of how you move or how you think or what you put in your mouth or what comes out of your mouth or what you allow in your head
That's chaos.
That's
is what
chaos.
that is.
Yeah.
So,
that's-
so maybe that's part of answering that question, right?
it's just awareness.
It's an awareness, but I think it's something that we could all explore as kind of like the question for the year is how do you know when you're at optimal health?
Probably
Yeah,
has to
but-
start with having that quiet time and allowing yourself to be quiet and be vulnerable and just think,
Yeah.
and not be so caught up with being busy all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you constantly have to reassess it too, right? Because obviously optimal health is not the same at 20 as it is at 60. Yeah. But that's the goal, to keep having that optimal health your whole life. Yeah.
Regardless of where you are. Yeah. Well, just even the 9 vegetables, and I got that guidance when I came to see Sam in your office, right? And
What's your streak at now?
my streak?
Yeah, how many weeks in a row have you been
Oh, it's
getting?
been quite a
Oh,
while.
I don't have an app. I don't have an app to measure
she does
that.
it every day.
There's
though.
the
She
next
does it every
business
day.
opportunity.
That's a good.
A
But
good fat app.
I'm-
There
Yeah,
you go.
good fat app. That's next.
That's
write
a
that
great
down.
idea.
Johnny, write that down.
Yeah, that's a great
That's a
question.
great
But I
idea.
know it's been fairly consistent for the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So that feels good. But to the point is, until I had that conversation, I hadn't even paid attention. I mean, I didn't.
And you
I
can
don't
see
eat,
it in your skin and everything.
I
too.
don't eat a lot of sugar or processed food. I haven't for years and years. But I wasn't eating enough fruits and vegetables. You can get away with eating a lot of not fruits and vegetables
Right.
by not paying attention, right?
How simple is that?
Well,
How simple
yeah.
is it?
Well, it took
You
me
know?
a year.
Well, she got the most simple answer. She's like, how am I going to get these 9 vegetables in? And what did your friend say? And it was like, eureka.
Oh, soup.
Soup.
Make
There you
Make
go.
soup. Because I was buying all these vegetables
It's like,
and then I
how
wouldn't
can
eat
I
them
eat
fast enough,
Munch
right?
on all that.
Soup. Oh my gosh, soup.
But that's been so much fun is, it's like you have this question or you have a challenge. And it's like, okay, I'm falling flat here. I'm trying. I need help. And then if somebody goes, well, make soup. And you go, oh, well, that's brilliant. And
Right.
that's
Why you
easy.
think- yeah.
But
And
it's
that-
one step forward.
That experimentation is such an important. I love experimenting with my health. I love things that there's no floor. Like there's not going to cause any major symptoms with me, but could have a really high ceiling. And
Right.
so I love to try different things like that and just see how my body responds to fasting or to keto or to whatever different type of diet or movement patterns are.
What
out
have you
there.
done lately that's been effective or you thought was interesting that you could share with us?
You
that
know
you've
what?
tried?
I really like to fast. I've really
Intermittent,
studied.
or do you do
I
days,
try
or-
to do the intermittent as much as I can, but I've been trying to do once a quarter, do a 3-day fast.
Well, tell us about that experience. How is that for you?
Yeah, so it's not hard in a sense that like my energy struggles or suffers because of it. It's hard because you just have that craving and
And
that
it's a
habit.
social
Yeah,
interaction.
the habit. So I've found that I do it on the weekdays when I'm really busy. I've tried to do it on the weekends, and it's just so hard when your cupboard's right there. You're just like,
Yeah.
you just like innately go and grab like a handful of nuts. I'm like, oh nope, not doing it. But it's just I like to do it because it's just a really quick, easy reset. The science behind fasting, what it does for your body, is really, really cool. And some of the things that they're thinking that it can help with cancer prevention and for brain health and for resetting metabolism is really cool. And I'm not going to hurt myself doing it for 3 days.
How does that
Your
make
body-
you feel mentally? Does it make you recharge after?
You know what? It can be when I do it. The last couple times I've done it with coffee. So I'll let myself drink coffee and water. If I do it without coffee, I will be.
Yeah.
And I'm just a 1 cup a day guy, but still, like I'll have that second day where I just feel drained, where my body's like, all right, where's the caffeine and where's some sugar here?
Right.
And then once I get used to it and I get over those cravings and I get over that, whatever that minor addiction with is, then it's just all uphill from there. My body and my brain takes off from there. Yeah, but I can have that little bit of a dip, like the second day. The same thing happens when we do like the fast, the 10-day or the 10-day detox. Usually the second day will be like, all right, my body's like, all right, what's going on? I've got these cravings and I've got these things that I'm used to, and you're not giving them to me anymore. And then I get over it, and then after that, like just energy takes off.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. You get like sort of in a zone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what's you were starting to tell me about something with blood sugar. So tell me about that.
So it's another thing you can measure that can grow. So it's another thing that you could gamify. I mean, blood sugar is such an important health indicator that we don't pay enough attention to. Really,
right?
And
Yeah,
who knows
it's really huge.
Who's had their blood sugar measured in the last year? Very few people do. Very few people.
It affects you all day long.
It affects you all day long. It affects your brain in such a great level. It's sugars at high levels are neurotoxic and pro-inflammatory, and that's what Americans struggle from more than anything else. Is
that's diabetes, right?
Yeah.
So then the inflammation is heart
Hypoglycemia.
disease, and then the research is all showing that Alzheimer's is type 3 diabetes, right?
Oh,
so
really? Wow.
so blood sugar is at the baseline on that.
Well, think of diabetes at its most extreme level. I mean, the neuropathy that comes along with it, and people lose limbs from it. I mean, sugar is neurotoxic. It is. It affects your brain to such a great degree. So it's something I'm looking to do soon. I found there's a tool that you can buy without a script. It's called a NutriSense that you can track your blood sugar. It ties right into your phone. Another thing that I can get competitive and get nerd out on for a little while. But I want to see like if I grab a handful of granola and eat it, what it does to my blood sugar. I think it'll make me much more intentional about what I put in my body. Different stress can really crank up your blood sugar as well too. I want to see how my body responds to stressful situations and what it does to my blood sugar.
And it's different for female and male as well.
Different for female and
people,
male. Yeah. So I mean, you can do the NutriSense CGM, the constant glucose monitor, or I'm gonna see if I can get a primary care physician just to write me a script for one and then have it linked up. I just want to know.
Happens.
Just another thing to measure that you can get better at.
I heard that if you never eat sugar in your entire life, you'll have zero chance of getting cancer. Is that true?
I have no clue.
Sugar is directly related to cancer.
Yeah.
I mean,
they say
Don't
sugar feeds cancer. I don't know if that means all cancers.
It seemed to be like in the 90s. I remember hearing that, like, if you never, because I used to work at a Montessori school and teach, and so many of the kids were not allowed to ever have sugar because that was of everyone was sort of that mind, like, if we never give them sugar, they'll never have cancer. So
we have to change of what we think of as sugar too. Like when I talk to patients about like decreasing their sugar, they think, well, I'm not eating candy and cookies, so I'm good.
Right.
Well, look at your spaghetti sauce that you're eating. There is
Ketchup,
a tremendous amount of added sugar in there. It's a cheap, easy way to add flavor to things that is very, very cost effective for food companies to do. So read your labels. You'd be surprised what's in your tomato sauce and your yogurt and how much sugar is
my
in
gosh,
basic things.
And then be careful. You don't want to go to sugar free. You don't want to go to substitutes. You want to be sugarless.
Even whole grain stuff. I mean, granola isn't great for you. It really isn't. I'm really interested to see what eating granola does to my blood sugar, because I've heard like how much it can spike up your blood sugars. So. Yeah, just another thing that I can learn from.
Interesting. Well, and like I said, just the Oura Ring and really helped me change my sleep. Yeah. Right. And so it's one thing, but it's an important thing. And so I'm really intrigued to hear how that works for you.
the same idea from the same doctor that I got the idea of the Oura Ring from, the Dr. Peter Attia, that he's got a longevity clinic. He's a medical doctor that practiced, in a hospital and just got bogged down with all the bureaucracy that can come with that, and went into private practice. And he says with all of his clients, they get an Oura Ring and they get a CGM.
And that's just
and that's how they
baseline.
manage their health. That's
Yeah.
how he tracks their health. And he can see the numbers, he can see where they're at. So instead of just managing symptoms, they have these awesome numbers that really give you a ton of feedback on stress levels of the body, nutritional stress levels of the body, motion stress levels of the body. It's such a comprehensive picture of health. Just made a ton of sense.
Well, and the other thing that what you keep saying, or I'm saying over and over, it's not one thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's a whole, it's a team, if you will. It's a village of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I have a question too. So I currently have no pain. I feel healthy in general. What if I showed up in your office today? Like, would it be preventative, or how would you would there be something to help me stay healthy or get healthier? Like, could I just show up and I have no pain, no ailments, but I want to understand my body more and get healthier?
Yeah. So what we do with a patient first in that situation is we do posture pictures and how we see what their postural alignment looks like. It helps kind of direct me on how we would do a physical exam to see how the body's moving. We would focus with you on more structural and functional goals with you.
Okay.
Right. So, take x-rays, see what the cervical curve looks like, see what pelvic leveling looks like. You'd be surprised how many times I've taken x-rays of patients that have no pain and that had no clue. And we find scoliosis, we find phase 3 degeneration and bone spurs and disc problems. There are these subacute problems that are going to go off at some point in time.
Right.
That if they get on it sooner, it's going to be a lot easier on their body than waiting for it to just explode.
Right.
But for so many, that's how we've been taught to treat our health. I hear it from people all the time is, well, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. It's like, how do you know it's not broken?
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you
What's
know?
your criteria?
Yeah.
And
Your bone's not sticking on your arm. I guess it's fine. Yeah.
And I know there's people that are very in tune with their body and really know their body well, but most people are not. We sit too much. We don't move enough. People are not in tune with their body the way they should be. So to be that much audacity to think that if it's not broken, it's just to me it's ridiculous. Just because I've seen what it looks like so many times with patients that come in and they've got a low back pain, but we take pictures of their neck and that they've never had any pain, and we see this just train wreck going on there that we know where it's going to go to. And why wait? Why wait to fix that? You wouldn't do that. We wouldn't do that for your teeth.
Right.
If your dentist, you go into your dentist, I'm sure they take x-rays and they see decay. You say, fix it. You don't say, well, let's wait till it hurts. Let's wait till
that root.
Wait till
cavities.
I don't know why we treat our spine that way. I don't know why we treat the rest of our body that way when we don't treat our teeth are like the only thing that we're proactive about. Our teeth, we just go and we get x-rays from the day they start to grow in throughout the course of our life. And we just take it for granted. If we get rot, we drill it out and take care of it.
Yeah.
And we
The rest
don't
of
wait
it can just go to hell.
We don't wait for it. Yeah. Your spine, it's all right. I use the analogy. I always tell patients, well, if your spine was on your face, you would probably take better care of it. but it's back there and you can't see it.
You can't see it.
So we try to take posture pictures so they can see. They can see like how beautiful and strong and confident good posture looks compared to
Oh my
this.
gosh.
Well,
Remember Evan, our guest?
Oh, yeah,
Speaking
yeah.
of beautiful posture. So we had this great kid, and I call him a kid. He's, probably in his 20s, but he's this meditative Jesus kind of guy. He stands up so straight, and there's just
He's
something
tall.
about
he's
it.
Like, He's like your height, but he's got impeccable posture.
Yeah.
It just is.
It sort of changes the way other people move around him too. It's really,
the nonverbal communication that you get from posture is so important. And what I think we talked about this last time I was on, what postural positions does to your own body is really important. Hormonal levels,
how you feel mentally.
How you feel mentally.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we talked about this last time. Amy Cuddy's done a bunch of research through
right.
Harvard about what posture, holding at Superman posture, compared to the defeatist posture, what it does to cortisol levels and
as we all straighten up, right?
testosterone levels in your body. So the nonverbal communication to others around you and to your brain is so amazing. But once again, I see, especially kids. COVID and being stuck at home has crushed kids' postures. You know how many teenagers I talk to that they lay in bed until
They're not sitting up all day long. They're not even standing up.
No, they're laying down, looking at their iPad. I've got these kids that say, I have my alarm set up that goes off 2 minutes before my class, and I wake up and I turn on my laptop, and I just lay there and look at it.
With like a pillow on the side.
Lord.
Yeah.
You can have no muscle mass to hold up your posture at all after doing that for a whole year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so parents look at hopefully everybody's going to be back to school next year, but there's still a lot of parents that are still working from home, and we're a year and a half into this. If you haven't already addressed your ergonomics, you are way behind. Get yourself a standing desk. Look into it. Send me pictures of your workstation at Dr. Rushford at HOH Chiro, and I'll give you some ideas, but change something.
So that's, I mean, and that's a great, one other thing in your article, there's two things, and other things that jump out in your article is one is hydration.
Yeah.
So I calculated how many ounces, right? And I've done this a couple times.
And how do you do that? What's the formula?
Yeah, so.
Half your body weight in ounces is kind of the general rule that you go by. And then if you really want to get fancy with it, you take, if you drink any diuretics like alcohol or coffee or tea, for every ounce of diuretic you drink, you're supposed to drink 2 ounces of water to make up for that hydration loss from the diuretic.
Oh, like if you drink caffeine.
So so it's, you know, the tea and the coffee.
Oh my
and
gosh,
the,
yeah,
and
I'm
the
totally
wine
in the negative.
Don't
No.
They don't
add
count.
into this.
No, shoot. Okay.
You don't get to deduct
All right,
those.
well, I have to look at that.
It's like in simple things.
And
Simple
that
things.
affects your brain health so much, hydration.
It
People
affects
don't
the
realize.
health of every
Yeah.
cell and tissue organ in your body.
Yeah.
Every second there's millions of physiological processes and metabolic processes going on in your body, and all of it requires water.
Why is it so hard for our people to drink water? It's like it's like the elixir from the heavens.
Because we're stuck being too busy. Do
Yeah.
you know how busy I am? I can't drink water.
I have to
I'm so addicted to being busy.
Yeah.
So I have to be busy.
Yeah,
You know?
that's true.
And
It's like the goal to be busy. It's like, no, your goal should be productive and healthy, not just to be the maximum busy.
Yeah.
and the truth is the gift of water it's priceless.
And we are water.
Well,
Yeah.
but I mean, look at what's happening around the world.
Yeah.
How many people don't have access to just a glass of clean water?
Yep.
Right? And you see it in our own country. This is going to become a crisis.
And our
here
own
pretty
our
soon.
own
It is.
state. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So 2 cities over. Yeah.
So
Did I hear that like out in California, the water level,
the dam's at 35 feet.
and like the water coming out of the tap is like rust and dirt and just super
Yeah.
high, low quality.
And they're not having, and where I grew up, it's going to be 108 degrees. We never had temperature, 80 degrees was hot when I was young. So anyways, things are changing, but water. So, and the other thing that you said that I absolutely loved is follow the 1% rule. Right?
The 1% change.
The 1%
And
change.
what's that? What
Yeah,
is that?
yeah. I mean, so many people they get stuck in this like I've heard it called perfection paralysis. Like, oh man, if I'm not, I already messed up breakfast, so I might as well just mess up the rest of the day.
Right.
Or I can't make it to the gym and get my full hour workout in, so I might as well not work out at all
For the next 3
yeah,
weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just because you can't do a little bit of something is better than a lot of nothing, is what I always tell patients.
Right.
Yeah, so you can't do the big care plan that I roll out for a patient. What can you do? And just be consistent with it. A 1% change sustained is way more impactful than doing a 10-day detox and then going back to eating crap again.
Yeah.
Right.
Sustained changes.
And that's harmful too when you yo-yo like that.
You yo-yo back and
Yeah.
forth. Yeah, sustained changes. People don't give it enough credit because it's not as exciting as a big challenge and a detox and whatever.
Well, it doesn't have that game app.
Yeah,
and
just
it
the
flashes
sexy.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
Ooh, I get my 1% again today. It's exciting. But yeah, I mean,
1% at a time.
getting out for a 10-minute walk, just because you can't go to the gym, a 10-minute walk, or getting up from your desk for 2 minutes to do jumping jacks, or just move for just a second can be so impactful to your body even if it just keeps them from getting worse. It's so impactful.
Yeah.
Just keep it from getting worse. Yeah, that's a big one.
Okay,
Big one.
so if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they find you?
Yeah, so we're right here in Brighton. If you wanna learn more about our office online, you can find our website is www.hohchiro.com. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Our Facebook page I look at it a little bit more of like community service. We post a bunch of health stuff on there. I've got a bunch of videos on there for back health exercises. I used to do that the morning show, but it just got to be a lot of work. So I used to do the show where I get up at 5:30 and a couple days a week, and I was already up there, but I would just turn on my Facebook Live thing and I would just talk about different things that are on my mind about health. And Just talk about different exercise routines that I'm into that are great for back health. So all those videos are still on there too that people can go back through. And then we're also, all of our Facebook stuff gets loaded up on Instagram as well. You can find us.
Okay.
During the summer, we are out in the community a lot though. I don't want to, if we sit back and wait for people to come to us, we're just going to see acute patients when they're on fire. And that's not my goal, is to get at those subacute people and get them to work on their health before it gets to that point. So during the summer, we do any and every event that we can. I think we're scheduled to be down at the farmers market tomorrow here in Brighton. I don't know if weather's going to work out for us. I think it's going to rain. But Dr. Clark and Dr. Kelly are going to be down there tomorrow. We usually bring our posture app when we do that, and we do posture evaluations to people free of charge, just to get people thinking about it. It's a very low risk, low invasive way for people just to talk to a chiropractor and see that there's nothing scary about us or what we do, and help them just understand it. If you can just see what your posture actually looks like and see like an engineering framework of what your blueprint looks like and how that loads stress, it can be really important. So we'll be on the farmers markets a little bit this summer. We'll be at the Wine Art Music Festival this summer in Brighton. There's a new one, the Bark in the Park.
Yeah,
summer we're gonna be at the Bark in the Park.
Okay.
We usually do the Taste of Brighton, but that one's not gonna be on this summer. But we like to get out as much as possible, just to educate people during the summertime. And so it's if you see us out there, stop by and pick our brains.
Well, and we want to be able to also do shout outs and post when you're going to be around.
Okay. Yeah.
So because we're totally, we speak the same language, right? And so,
And speaking of that, Dr. Rushford, we always ask that our guests give somebody something that's someone that's sitting at home right now, something they can do right now. They don't have to go anywhere and buy anything or do anything, but just something to start thinking about to do something better. What would be your advice?
Okay. Well, I'll take one from my new article is just squeeze your glutes. Okay.
okay.
So
what do you mean?
So if you're sitting at home right now, stand up and just squeeze your butt and feel what happens. And what will automatically happen without you having to think about engaging those muscles is your thighs will tighten up and your core will tighten up. It's such a great way to learn how to engage core. And if you're somebody that's a chronic sitter, you'd be surprised how many people can't engage their core. They don't even know how to engage their core because they're detached. They're so detached from it because they don't move. So when you're
squeeze them for how long? Just a few seconds?
You don't have to like crack walnuts. That kind of intensity.
I'm doing it right now.
But if you're moving throughout your day, if you're bending and lifting and moving, before you bend, before you lift, just to squeeze your glutes and create that little bit of bracing can be so impactful and protect your low back.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
really
great advice.
That
sounds
phenomenal.
easy enough.
Yeah. So, all right. Well,
I think it's time to go off and squeeze our glutes in our good fat life, right? And just remember, it's your glutes, not other people's glutes. That's all.
Exactly.
Yes. Just put that on. We should put that on a shirt.
Dr. Adam told me.
Right.
No, that's not what he said.
So on that happy note, let's just go out and live our good fat lives.
I might start a magazine and a podcast that's just squeeze your glutes.
I love it.
And just take your whole model.
There you go.
You have me at glutes. All right. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you so
thanks,
much
guys.
for
I appreciate
being
it. Thanks.